Well, hello there, it's Beards and Bangers, and today I'm going to do an oil change on Gunther, my BMW 330d. Right, so yeah, not had the car long. The oil's pretty black. Obviously, diesel oil is always black. So cars on axle stands. To do that, you haven't got many hard points on these cars. So I've jacked up with the front jacking point, which is all the way back there. I have actually loosened. I'd make sure we can undo the sump plug first. So that's there. Job number one is to put some oil flush, engine flush in. So I'm just going to undo that. The car is warm, so it's been driven up here obviously. And I've got some Forte advanced motor flush. While the car's running, I will add some diesel injector cleaner as well. Sorry, excuse the jerkiness of the camera. So here's our motor flush, Forte stuff, always good. That was hard work jacking it up. I'm out of breath. Obviously being unfit is the other reason I'm out of breath. So we just undo that, make sure our little foil doesn't drop in. We'll just tip that into the engine. Green goddess of a solution. So what that'll do, same as when I did the mini video way back when, that'll dissolve any nasties and sort of de-sludge the engine a little bit. So what I shall do is put the oil cap back on, obviously. And obviously, those of you who are Rover 75 and MGZT diesel drivers will know that oil cap, because it's pretty much the same, just black, although you can get black 75 ones, they're very sought after. So we'll get the car running, and we're going to run it for about 20 minutes. So with this car, press the key. Oh, why is it not starting? For some reason it's not starting. One sec. Foot on the brake. I should have known that. So there we are. So we're going to set a timer for about 20 minutes. Just let that run up. That'll dissolve all the crud and nasty in the engine bay. We'll drain the oil out. While I'm waiting for that, we'll put the diesel injector cleaner. I've got a diesel fuel treatment as well, but that never turned up earlier, so this will also go in, and that just cleans the injectors and yeah, make sure everything's running nicely. So going to be a bit of a sort of several stages for this service, because the air filter is an absolute nightmare to do. It's not a nightmare, just long. Yeah, and then everything else we'll sort of do as we go along. So I don't want to spend too much time or money on this car, but just doing something like an oil service is fairly important, because at a higher mileage engine you've got to look after them. So I'm going to go ahead and get this diesel specialist injector cleaner in, and then we'll be back in about 20 minutes to drain the oil out. So car's still just ticking over, just letting that flush get around the whole system. I'm going to be a good boy today and use latex gloves or nitrile gloves. I'm going to use Magnatec, Castrol Magnatec 5W30. I'd rather use a premium oil, just because it's an older engine. Cheaper oils degrade really quickly. You might as well not bother putting them in. I did contemplate flushing it and then putting flushing oil in and dropping it again, but this flushing, this is cheaper than flushing oil, and the capacity on these, actually the first time you're seeing under the bonnet of this thing properly. So the engine capacity, the oil capacity on these is 7.5 litres. So they're got a pretty lot of a fair bit of oil. Typical BMW diesel, obviously your Rover 75 MGZT with your 2 litre M47R engine is 6.7. So they do need a lot of oil, the BMW engines. And then our other job to do, of course, is the filter. There's no point dropping the oil without changing the filter. So our oil filter's up here, very accessible. I'm using a MAN one. It wasn't the cheapest one, actually the most expensive one. It's paper element type. like so. Pop that there, that'll be fine there. And it comes with a new sealing ring, and you also got a copper washer for the sump plug as well. So that's a service item. So please make sure if you are servicing your car and it has a copper washer, replace it. It's like a crush washer. Copper's quite soft. Yeah, so obviously always do that. It's good practice, you know, rather than reusing the old washer. So we'll let this just do its little bit of running, then we'll whip the oil out. I've already got a catch canister under there. That's 8 litre. I've got this as a backup just in case, so we'll have that on standby as well. I am doing this on a slight slope, but I have made sure the car is rock solid, and I will get the jack actually up next to the axle stands just to be on the safe side once I'm underneath it, just to be certain. Just can't be too careful with these things. And then yeah, we'll get the oil out, replenish the oil, and that is that job done. So first part of getting this car kind of just little best practice things to do to make sure it's going to be running all right. Obviously we know that there's other stuff needing to be done, but I'll bring you that in another video. I have got new kidney grills in order because I really don't like those. Same with the little moustache bits as well up there. New badge has actually arrived already, but I'll do the front end. My plan is to do kidney grills, badge, and just to repair this here, just do a smart repair on that. Doesn't need flattening back. I think it'll probably need a bit of filler as well. Might see if Mr. Jeffries wants to come down, just to make it look a bit better, because okay, the whole bumper's a bit crusty, but that bit really does offend me. Just want to make that front look nice, and hopefully that's not going to cost too much money. In fact, I'll make sure it won't. The kidney grills got off eBay for 16 quid. Badge 20 quid, genuine brand new one. Paint I've already got, Titan silver, exactly the same colour as Derek, the 330 coupe. Rear badge I'll do at some point as well. Engine cover could be the bit that's hard to find. That's obviously broken, as I showed you in my introductory video to the car the other day. So well, we will work through these things gradually, but there's no busting hurry, and just do the essential things for now. Next bit of the service will be coolant flush and change, air filter, and I'll show you. You won't do it now because obviously the car's hot, but I'll show you inside the expansion tank at some point, because there's some bits in there that shouldn't be in there, look like bits of stone or something like that. So we'll get those, probably replace. The expansion tanks are really cheap for these, so yeah, not all BMW parts are expensive. So give me a few secs and we'll get that oil out, and then we'll refill it and I can get home. Right, so I've also put the oil catch in a cardboard box as well, just to be absolutely on the safe side. I don't want to repeat what happened with the Mini, so I'm just going to rest the camera down here so you can see me wheezing and grunting to get under a car. And we'll just use this 17mm socket just to get the sump plug off. Obviously I'll be careful, you probably can only see my back, but that's on tight, isn't it? So I'll grab the camera so you're a little bit nearer the action. There we are, it's up there. We can tilt that up there like that. So there's my sump plug there. That should be fairly loose because I just cracked it off. There's the right way. And that's pretty loose already, so I'll carefully do this. Let's make sure that's... Oh, there goes the can. That happened last time. That is a peril of doing this kind of thing. Oh dear, this isn't very good. I'm going to leave that in though, because you really ought to see the reality like that. So we'll just carefully make sure that's in the right place. That's why it went. And I am getting a very oily hand, but that's fine. We can clean up this socket with some brake cleaner afterwards. Let's try and get that out by hand now. And here it comes. There we go. And we got the thing in the right place this time. Right, so I'll get this out the way. I'm glad I put that cardboard box there. That's flooding out there. You can really smell the flush as well. So that's good. Right, I'm going to get myself sorted out, and we'll get the canister off next. Right, so the oil filter is really easy. The only thing I'm going to do is just have a plastic bag right next to me, because I'll drop the used filter in there. So just 30mm socket. I'm using a big ratchet, but that's just because it's easier. That doesn't want to go. There we go. So I'm not going to tighten it too tightly with this, because obviously this is a big boy ratchet. I can hear an O-ring squealing, so that's a positive sign. Let's pop the socket there. Hopefully this will come off by hand now. And one thing we can do is start to examine our oil. You can hear the oil flow going mad. Make sure we're not. Oh, we're quite full in there, but I think we're okay. We'll have to be very careful sliding that out. So if I just lift this up ever so carefully, let that hot oil drip down there. Obviously be careful because this is hot. So we'll just go in there like that. We can have a look at our oil. Nothing untoward in there. So this should just pop out, prise out. Oh, he says. So you've got this spine in the middle. So we'll turn that round, so that makes it any easier. Cool, that doesn't want to come out at all. There's our O-ring. Is there an O-ring even on there? Has it left the O-ring behind? Don't know, can't tell. So we'll just... God, that should just prise off there. Huh. That really doesn't want to come off. There we are. So that just slides over like that. Oh, that's hot. Big old engines, they do get hot. So I'll clean this up with some brake and clutch. And that'll obviously have to be disposed of properly. But yeah, that's the inside of your oil filter housing. I'll just get this glove carefully in here, and then I can turn the camera off without making the camera oily again. Right, so I've just put the oil filter back on, the replacement filter, new O-ring just sits in there. I'll put some engine oil on that before we refit it. So that just literally screws in there, not too tight, just finger tight, and that's our replacement oil filter done. Obviously make sure you don't lose your copper washer. You have got a copper, if it's the correct kit for the car, you'll have a copper washer. You'll have a copper washer in the kit as well to put on your sun plug. So just make sure you've got that, and we'll just drop that in there in a sec once it's cleansed through. Right, so I am losing the light unfortunately, so gonna have to expedite things and foreshorten the video. Obviously I'd love to show you every little bit of this, but I've got to get home in this car, so we'll start by just getting the I'm getting oil everywhere, but this is because I'm rushing now because the light is fading. You forget in September how quickly the nights start to draw in. So we'll just get some oil smeared on our O-ring, then we can just get this in finger tight for starters. And one thing I didn't do earlier was pull the dipstick out, so it was a bit more, got a bit of a bonus dribble, and I have made a mess, so of course I have. So we'll use the ratchet actually. It's gone tight on the O-ring, so we'll just carefully and feel it sealing though, so that's good. That's tight. That's all it needs to be. Doesn't need to be graunched up tight. So I'm going to do the sump plug. You don't see me doing that, and then we'll refill with oil. Right, so car's back on the ground. Basically, I'm going to need to put 1.5 of these in the car. I've got the funnel as well, just to make life a little bit easier, even though I just splashed the engine cover, but we'll get this in. We'll start the car up and we're done. So just make sure you check your dipstick after you fired the car up, just to make sure it's halfway between the two little marks on these. I won't show you now because it's too dark out here. I shouldn't have started this tonight. I should have left this till I had more time. Trouble with only having evenings with a day job is you have to rush these things. Light's not great in the unit, so we'll have to sort that out. So thank you for watching this episode of Beards and Bangers. Apologies I'm out of breath, but I am rushing rather a lot. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, share with your friends, drop a comment down below, and I'll see you again very soon on the next episode of Beards and Bangers. Goodbye.